All right, welcome everybody to this episode of Becoming Influential, the chat show for modern marketers. Welcome to my awesome co-host Courtney at the Conscious Coven. If you can see her waving there on your screen. Courtney's going to be the co-interviewer of our special guest today, and our special guest Adam Barralet. Have a wave, Adam, so everyone knows who you are. Blue Diamond of formerly Perth, and now can I tell them or not?
Yeah, that's fine.
And currently of Bahrain, living and working and growing doTERRA over there with his awesome leader, Hessa. So new journey. Excited for Adam to get up there. And Melissa Peake, a platinum leader who I had the good fortune to kind of spend some time with in Sydney. Must be a couple of months back now, Melissa, and we had a great day in Sydney with all the wellness advocates there at the Leadership Alive event. And Melissa had some awesome information to share on loyalty rewards and how she kind of stacked the value of that. So our topic for tonight is exactly that, the loyalty rewards program. And I'm going to start out with a few questions for Melissa, and then Courtney's going to switch over and get some questions for Adam, and we'll go from there. But Melissa, I was kind of, I must admit, I've never taken the time to go into the depth and detail that you do with working out what you can get out of the loyalty rewards program. I always order a couple of hundred PV a month is the minimum for what we need to do to get the maximum out of our business, and our order always seems to be more like 3, 4. It's like, how do we get it down to 200 PV? Not how do we get it up there? And you know, all the benefits and the points and all those things. I think, yeah, they're great, awesome, and I tell people about them, but I do it in a really kind of simple way. Your way is, I was kind of just listening and loving it. So I'd love for you to share with people how it is that you stack all that value to the customer so that they kind of go, well, that is a no-brainer. I kind of have to be there. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Thanks for that, Paul. Yeah, and certainly this was a concept that I came up with when we were onboarding new customers. And for many of us that have been in doTERRA for a long time, and as Paul said, you know, placing our orders every month, we know what the value is and we see the rewards and we know what we can reimburse for. But for a new customer, it's a bit like learning another language. And so I wanted to break it down, not just talking about what they'll get, but showing them the realized value. And so being fairly analytical, we put together some figures, facts and figures, based on what the spend is if you do 125 PV every month, and tabled that and showed people what they would earn back in their percentage points, and then also what they would then get back in terms of reimbursing for that product on those points. So I worked out in the first year, if you do a regular LRP order of 125, based on the earning potential in that first 12 months, you'll earn about 262 PV in your account to spend. So when I then took this following year and showed people what that looked like, and you're obviously then at 13 months onwards, you're at 30% in terms of the reward value, you'll earn 450 PV in that second year. So I show people what that looks like in real life figures, and then I basically broke it down and selected a range of different oils and products and worked out from that 450 PV that they would earn, it's actually 630, it can be around about, depending what you reimburse for, but $630 odd worth of value. So when they're spending, say, around $1,800 a month, per annum, not a month, $1,800 in the year, they would earn, and we know that it's about a third, but then when it's calculated out and they see the real products, it makes, I suppose it's just, it's a visual aid that I use, Paul, that shows people what the facts and figures look like.
Yeah, 100%. And I think in kind of looking at that presentation that you did for us, I was really interested to see how you also help people to understand or see the value in that spend, because it seems like a significant spend, right? 125 PV every month, but how that actually, depending on what you kind of guide them towards in buying, but that part of it actually saves them money too, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're obviously getting, if they do the 125 PV, and that the figures I just gave you was just based on the reimbursement points. Of course, they're also going to get the product of the month, which I've put into like a calendar format so they can see the last 12 months. And again, I've worked out what that value was. And that came to over, in the last 12 months, $270 odd. So when you add that up, that's, you know, getting close to $1,000.
Yeah, that's right. And you also compare it to them. Like one of the things I like to say when I talk about LRP, you know, is who's got one of those memberships where you go to the supermarket and you buy all your stuff and you walk out with a trolley full of stuff? Well, these days it's like one bag full of stuff and it feels like it's $200 these days. It used to be a shopping trolley for that much. But anyway, you walk up, you spend your couple $100 or your few $100 for the week and you get all these points. And then after 2 years of doing that, you seem to be able to get a free toaster. That's what I say.
Yeah, exactly.
You actually looked at that and
100%.
you a comparison that you share with people too, right?
Yeah, that's right. So just looking at one of the common reward systems that is on the market for the supermarkets in Australia, it's spend $2,000 and get $10 off a shop, or you can reimburse that for frequent flyer points. So again, I've put that in a visual aid that I show people. And so when I've done the calculations, this all sort of carries on from page to page. When they spend that $1,800 in a year, they'll earn the 450 PV, which is around $633 plus the product of the month. So that's just over $900, sorry. So yeah, $10 versus $900 free.
It's like, it's really lucrative actually, right? You know, and then depending on the products you buy, you can actually be saving money there as well. I mean, I talk to people all the time about the ongoing cleaner concentrate, because where can you buy 18 litres of cleaner for $18? And it's Botox, like, you know, where do you get that? So that's something that I always kind of try and make sure that we're working into those things as well. Carol just says, love it, Mel, sign me up. And so when do you do that, Melissa? Like, when do you share this information with people? Because that sounds like a real lot of information. Like, is that at the class? What does this look like? Because for the audience out there that's kind of watching now and that listens back again later on, it's like, okay, I want to know when you share that. What do you say? Where does that look like? How do you invite them to that?
Yeah, so most recently we've done it as an online training and recorded it for our team, which now can send a link to them to do it. I have been in the last 2 years doing it remotely. Previously it was in person where possible as part of the onboarding or wellness consult, where we would go through ordering, obviously the benefits of LRP, and then I started to show this. And I just found when I was doing this is pre-COVID, my rate of LRP was just much higher within the team. Then we've obviously had to pivot and look at other alternatives to doing that. So it has been online, but generally I'm doing it in the wellness consult. Yeah.
Okay. So you do those.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what's we're going to kind of keep from Adam in a second. I think kind of Courtney's going to hit up some questions about this as well, but what is it that you do and say to get people to that wellness consult space after you've enrolled them?
Yeah. Look, and I tend to try and either, again, if they're local to me, because I've been working a lot on my local community lately, I'll just meet them for a cup of tea or a coffee, ideally, or I'll go to them if they are okay with that. Depending how well I know them, if I've met them from a public event or, through people I know. But yeah, I have started to incentivize where I can, like we'll make a roller for you, or I'll give you a keychain and fill it up with some oils. So I've started doing that because, again, over the last 2 years, I found that it was harder to get people to commit to coming to a wellness consult. Yeah,
getting people back out of their shell or out of their cave is kind of starting to happen a bit better now, but it's pretty good. That's right. All right, awesome, beautiful. All right, Melissa, take a little break for a second. I'm going to pass over to Courtney, our awesome co-host for this evening, to give some questions to Adam while I dive in and give him screen sharing ability.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. So great to be here. So great to see so many faces. Adam, first question I want to start with, super simple. When do you first introduce the conversation about LRP?
For me, I know this is kind of, lots of people have different approaches to this, especially like, do they get them on LRP on that initial enrollment and that type of thing as well? what I find when it comes to introducing to someone in a general kind of workshop environment, whether that be online, in person, one person or a small group and that type of thing, confused customers that get overwhelmed won't buy. And so what will happen is you'll get this, if you're overwhelmed with too much information and trying to explain the percentages and all that, it gets too much. So what I've been doing recently and what works well for me is that I will do my, talk about the products and that type of thing. And I'll mention that one of the great benefits of getting the membership is that there's a rewards program. We get heaps of free stuff for free. So they know about that, but then going into the logistics of actually how it all works and that type of thing, I'm not necessarily talking about that straight away. In saying that though, one thing I've found is that although we love our essential oils, and they are the superstar of our product range, they're not the thing that's going to have a customer ongoingly on LRP forever. So one thing I've been playing around with recently and has been working quite well, I was going to pull up a slide, but it's not working for me at the moment, is when I talk about any of the pain points, so whether it be sleep, whether it be immunity, whether it be pain or anything like that, we have a supplement to match. And so what I'm recommending people do, grab your oils tonight and we'll grab you the subscription for the supplements that you want. And that makes it really easy because it will just come to you every single month. And so I'm kind of talking, and so that we've actually been getting people on that way, just putting their Lifelong Vitality or their MetaPower or their Copiva soft gels or something like that on there as well.
Absolutely love that. One of the things that I noticed that you said in there was you used the language subscription. And that kind of ties into my next question, which was just about how you simplify the language, because as we know, exactly like you said, customers can be really overwhelmed at the start. And I know that when I first started my business and I'm jumping in all excited and I'm going LRP and PV and, all of these things, and the customers are going, whoa, what is she talking about? So what would your tips be for just simplifying that language so that customers can really understand the benefits without that overwhelm?
Yeah, I think we've got to be careful, especially of not using abbreviations like LRP. That means something to us, but the loyalty rewards program is what I always use. So I say that we have a loyalty rewards program. I find this, it can be a bit complex to start off with. And what I think is really important to do when you're explaining the kits, and I normally, after I've said the oils, I'm like, the Home Essentials kit is the best kit to get. What that includes is 10 oils, fractionated coconut oil, a diffuser, and a consult with me, an option to get rewards points, and the stuff that we offer in our team as well. So in that price, it's not just the products, but they're actually already expecting the consult. And normally by the time they get to their consult, I will actually, if I'm in person, we do it on the computer. If I'm on Zoom, they share their screen and I actually go through how to set up the LRP there. It does take a little, I think I don't know if I could do it if I was brand new and I had a neatly printed page and book, it might still be a little bit fiddly. So I think it is something that you actually need to take people through so that they can understand that.
Yeah, love that. Just simplifying the process and walking them through as they need. So next question, to take a bit of a turn, what advice would you have for, say, someone who's been building a business? They've got a huge, maybe a huge customer base of customers that haven't ordered in a really long time, and they're wanting to reconnect with these customers and maybe introduce them to LRP way after the fact.
Yep. I think, I get asked that question, for long-term customers or even brand new customers, of how do I get someone an LRP? And my answer is the last thing you do is ask them to go on LRP. LRP is the reward that we get as business builders for educating customers. Now that can be whether it be group education or one-on-one education. So if you've got a member that you haven't spoken to in a year, you've got to find a reason to reach out to them. We have lots of great reasons to reach out to them. We've got things like MetaPower, we've got the clean range, we've got, vanilla is absolutely amazing, all these different types of things. Reach out to them, see how they're going. And I would, like we do with a brand new customer, sample them. How can we get them back into wanting to order? So that's the main thing. I think if you've got someone who wants to order, then it's the logical way that we all order is we all order via the LRP in that way. So I think it's finding a way to re-engage them and go, what would they be excited about? And MetaPower, we have it in America now. It'll be in Australia next year sometime. That's going to be a great opportunity for you to reach out to a whole bunch of people, because the benefits are so wide-ranging in that it's going to give us great reason to contact people.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's a great idea and ties in so well with last month's call on sampling. A bit of a different one. With our back office, obviously we've got pretty incredible functionality there when it comes to reports. Are you regularly reviewing your people that have dropped off LRP, and are you reaching out to those people, or are you utilizing that information for you and your business?
Yes, I do. In an ideal, perfectly running week, I'm reviewing that once a week, and I'll look at anyone who's dropped off LRP in the last week, and I will reach out to them. Now, again, what I want them to start buying again and stay on LRP, but they've obviously dropped off for a reason in that way. So what I'm thinking about is, okay, well, what's of concern to them? One thing I have found, and I don't know if it's just my team or if this is a general thing, but sometimes people have the impression that they must do a 125 PV order. So I make sure that I clarify that. But my main concern with them is, do you have any rewards points? Because a lot of people, when they cancel their LRP, don't realize that their 200 rewards points that they have earned, that's worth, I pick rough figures, $250 or so, they're about to lose that. And I don't want them to miss out on free product. So what I do is I check in with that. Sometimes I have it. And so I'm like, okay, we need to spend that. We need to use that. While we're talking, I'm like, by the way, I've not looked at your last 3 orders. You're only ordering oils. Have you tried the deodorant, the toothpaste, the cleaning products, blah, 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 supplements, all those type of things? Or I'm noticing that you're doing massive orders. Is it just getting too expensive? Why don't you just order a couple of things, whatever you need, and not the luxury things that you're kind of spoiling yourself with as well? But you've got to come in with an approach of why it's beneficial to them, not like, hey, you're off LRP. Of course they're off LRP. It wasn't working for them. We want them on LRP, but it's about serving them, not serving ourselves.
That's great. Thank you so much. I love that answer. I'll throw back to you, Paul.
Yeah, great stuff, Adam. I've watched you do this for a long time, Adam, but I've always loved, and I assume you're still using that kind of the languaging or that script that you had when it came to getting people to have that consult and understand the value. That's something you still do when you talk to them that same way.
Very much so. Yeah, and you really have to talk about that consult, that's going to happen next, and any other training or things that you want them to be involved in as part of that enrollment package. Because what happens when, for example, when we go to Starbucks or anywhere to go buy a coffee, once we bought our coffee, if we get a phone call from Starbucks the next day going, hey, just wondering how you enjoyed your coffee, did you want to get another one? You'd be like, I just wanted to buy a coffee. People aren't so familiar with how doTERRA works, so we have to educate them that they're actually, with their purchase, they're getting a package of ongoing support. So you've definitely got to introduce that idea of, we're going to have a consult and I'll talk to you about some different things and tell you how to get some free stuff and all that. They've got to be expecting that. Otherwise, you're bugging them and you're not going to get that personal consult to continue on and teach them about LRP. Yeah.
And I feel in my experience, kind of people like to be, to know what's coming. They don't want to be surprised, which is what you're kind of saying there. And part of that means that you've kind of got to have the confidence. You've got to have that level of sort of gumption or assuredness about yourself to be able to bring the loyalty rewards stuff and the other product into the early conversation, into the enrollment space, really, don't you? So they're actually aware that there's more here, and we are going to be doing this with you next. This is where we go. This is step 1, and step 2 looks like this.
Yeah, definitely. And one point that you kind of hinted towards there is, as business owners, we need to become familiar with the other products and the benefits of them. Now, supplements may be a little bit more overwhelming than an oil, but I actually don't think they have to be. We don't need to know exactly what the polyphenols are doing in the deep blue thing. We just know that polyphenols are a really good thing for helping with inflammation. And if you tell people that, I often refer to the oils can turn things on and turn things off on the body. They're like the accelerator and the brake of the car. But if the car's got no petrol, it ain't going anywhere. Your supplements are your petrol. They make sure the body has the right things to do what you want to do. So they're essential to have with your essential oils.
Yeah, great. Love that. I might come back to you and hit you up with that little script if you're open to sharing that you used to use. And I think I've asked you to do that a number of times over the years, but just every time I hear it, I go, why would you not say, yep, I'm up for that, right?
Yep.
You know, and you also got, I think you've seen that piece where you're guiding them on the call, right? Where you get them to do their order and understand what to do, and you know, that part of it is what I'm talking to you about.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. Yeah, and I must kind of preface that with saying I've already had a discussion with them about what their health needs are and what they need. Yeah. So that they actually want to buy something. I'm not like, oh, by the way, I'll show you how to shop now, kind of thing. So that does happen in the conversation before we actually get on to now. The first half hour is about their needs. The second half is how to fulfill those needs and get on LRP. Correct.
All right, I'll come back to you in a second on that. Melissa, if you don't mind, if you're still there, if you can unmute,
Yes.
I wanted to come back and talk to you a little bit about your process, right? Because when it comes to mentioning loyalty rewards, or kind of, you know, bringing this into the space and getting people to participate in it, what you presented to us when I was looking at it was that it's super detailed. Like, you have this commitment to it from the enrollment space through an email series, there's onboarding, all these things. What are those things? And then tell, and why do you do them? Why do you have those?
Yeah, so the main time I've really focused on explaining in more detail has been at the Wellness Consult. Or as I said, we've now got the recording that they can watch in our both in our Facebook community, but also we've got a link for YouTube as a private link so that I can direct people to that. That's really been the main focus for me. I've now printed a flyer that I will actually now include in the welcome packs based on the new information now with the change to the shipping and the points. So I've had to revamp the information. But yeah, and that will go out in the welcome packs as well, just explaining and giving those examples around the facts and figures that I talked about so they can see then the realized numbers. So I'm talking, I suppose, like the way I come at it is it's about value for them. And obviously, as to what Adam said, it's really about making sure they understand what they'll get out of it and about swapping their shopping over. So it's not about extra spend. I explain it that you may be already spending XYZ dollars in other locations, because I certainly was previous to this, and you might be buying it at 3 or 4 different companies or more, and you can streamline and make your shopping easier. So those are the conversations I have, and just trying to then simplify and show them how they can swap their products over is a big part of that.
Yeah, and what are some of the ones that you recommend and see people kind of taken up that you love to kind of focus in on? Because obviously the consumables range that doTERRA has now is growing, right? Even just in the cleaning space, we've got the guard range, but we also have now our own lemon eucalyptus range, the Australian range. So that alone, the cleaning space, there's tons. And then supplements, and then you've got personal care, so body care, skin care, all these other things. So what are the ones that you kind of find that move the needle with the customer? They go, oh, I'd be happy to give that a crack and go down that.
Well, it will depend a little bit, obviously, on what their health priorities are. So again, like what Adam said, I also focus in on 1 or 2, sometimes 3, depending what they are. So when I do the wellness consult, I actually create a habit plan for them after that wellness consult. So they get almost, again, an itinerary, if you like, of when to use the products that will help them for each of their health concerns, whether it's sleep, energy, etc. I always incorporate in our supplements. Traditionally, it's been Lifelong Vitality, of course, but now with the expanded range that we have in Australia, that is just incredible. So I'm always, let's say it's energy or sleep, I'm always got LLV in there, as well as the oils, and then obviously creating routines and habits for them, because I find otherwise people just go home and diffuse, and they're not getting the oils on them. And I say it's much more powerful when you get it on them and in you. So when I start getting them to use it topically, I really feel that that's what the changeover from just diffusing to topical, and then obviously expanding into the other ranges. But yeah, I really do focus on supplements. And now the cleaning range is going to be another adjunct to that.
Awesome. All right, Adam, so kind of hit us up with this, what you do when you're guiding people through how to actually, I find it really empowering for the customer, what it is that you do to help, the depth that you go to help them to be able to experience how to place an order themselves, how to get them on loyalty rewards. And by the way, guys, you want to pay close attention to this, because Adam has an amazing way of, as part of his wellness consult, which I think often is like online and Zoom, right? Because you do a lot of your enrollments in that space, and they're not all living down the road from you, right? Especially not now. But pay real close attention to what he says and does here, because he has a conversion rate from people who show up to the wellness consult of going on LRP at the end of that wellness consult at the 8 to 9 out of 10 kind of number, not 1 out of 10. So this is really, really powerful. I've watched Adam do this, and Courtney's like smiling and laughing, because she's like, when Adam first said this, it was like, my mind blew up. But it changes the game if you can pay attention to what he's about to say. So he's done the wellness consult. He's asked them about his, their needs and their health goals, and he's kind of, talked about, how to get the benefit out of the kit that they've started with and the orders they've got. And he's also maybe recommended a few other things they might like to be able to try to sort of supplement that. It might be more targeted and more focused. And then you're at the point, Adam, where it's like, they're on the screen and you asking them to open up their back office, and I'll leave it with you. You go.
Awesome. So yeah, I want you to visualize that you're basically talking to someone on screen, or you're sitting with them and they're sitting there on their back office, or you can see that because they've shared screen in that way. You've already clear on what they want to get. So basically, I've done this probably several hundred times now. So it's kind of just, it feels like a script, a monologue. So it goes on this. So here we are on the front page of our back office. This is where we can do our ordering, see the specials and so on. You'll see in the top left-hand corner there's a bit of a slideshow at the moment. I like to always pause and have a look at all the different pictures there. That'll tell you any of the specials that are on right now. And if any of them interest you, if you click on the picture, it'll open up another tab and you can kind of find out a bit more about how to take advantage of that special. Now, over on the right-hand side, you'll see there's 2 buttons. There's a white one that says place a one-time standard order, and a purple one that says create a new LRP template. Now, unless you're 105 and have never used a computer before, I don't want you touching any of the white buttons. The purple buttons are the best one to press. So I'm going to give you a bit of a demonstration of what this LRP is. So how I describe it, it's kind of a combination between a frequent flyer program and a magazine subscription, where by placing an order on a regular basis, you end up getting rewards for that. The 2 things I really like about it is, one, although it's a monthly ordering process, you're not locked into order every month. You can order this month and next, but if you don't need anything the following month, we can just jump out of it. That's easily done. The other great thing is it's actually a really generous program. I'm guessing that you probably have a Woolworths Rewards or a Flybuys card. Yeah. And we know that with Woolworths, if you spend $2,000, we get about $10 back. We've calculated that if you were to spend $2,000 over maybe a year with doTERRA on all cleaning and a whole range of the different stuff we've been talking about, you'd probably get around $1,000 worth of free stuff back. So it's really, really generous. I end up getting about 5 free things every single month. So I'll show you how that all works. So let's click on that purple button and a little calendar will come up. And I want you to choose the 15th. And I'll explain why that is in a little while. Now, down the bottom, go click on that button now, add products to cart. Now, we really want to get that lifelong vitality because we're excited about that. So see up the top there, there's a quick add to a quick search. Just put in the word life for me. There you go. It's appeared. Click on that. Add that to the cart. And now you'll see over on the right-hand side, there's another purple button saying review cart. So as we go to this screen, what you can see now is this looks like any kind of internet shopping page. Up the top there, you've got your address, credit card details, and your email. And if you want to change addresses and all that, you just click on those edit words and you can do that really easily. Scroll down a little bit and there's a really cool thing there. Can you see that little box that says quick add to cart? Yep. So you know how you wanted to get the whisper as well? Can I get you to write the letters in there, just WHIS, just the first few letters? Give it a second to think. Sometimes it's a bit slow. There we go. Click on that, whisper, and see it's added it to your cart. So if you know what you want to get, you don't have to go searching around the website to see. You can just add to that. Now, scroll down a little bit more and you'll see some subtotals there. I want to explain them and let's talk about how to get some free stuff. So you can see if you're buying those two things, you've got the price there, that's $155. But you'll also see that there's this thing PV. That stands for point volume. Now, one of the ways of getting a free product from doTERRA every single month is if you do an order of 125 PV, you'll automatically get a free gift. Now, 125 is our magic number, so it's that every month, and we don't know what the product will be each month. It's a surprise at the start of the month. So let's say next month it's cedarwood. You can decide, oh, I want to get a cedarwood. Press, get your order up to 125, and they'll automatically add that into the cart as well. If you don't want cedarwood, you can do a small order or no order whatsoever. Now, the other thing is you can see there it says rewards points. They're the ones that are going to start stacking up quite quickly, like your flybys, but a lot quicker than that. And you can use them to buy whatever you want. Now, you might have enough now for a lavender, and you might want to, just get a lavender for free instead of paying for it. Or you might want to save up for one of our more, exclusive oils like rose or sandalwood or helichrysum or something like that. And if you want, you can save your points up for a few months and get it that way as well, type of thing. So once you've done that, we just save the order. It'll take you back to the home screen. And what you'll see now is there's a little box that says scheduled LRP for the 15th. I must point out that you do have to do that 125 by the 15th. If you do it 16th or after, you don't get the free goodies. So that's why we've got it set to the 15th of the month. When you need to edit that order or change that later on or add, click on edit order, it'll take you back in there. And it's like a Word document. So once you've finished changing it, you've got to hit save changes. Don't just log out or turn your computer off because it won't remember that as well. So what will happen now, if we were to do nothing else, on the 15th of December, it'll process this order for the Lifelong Vitality and the Whisper. Now, if you continue not to do anything, on the 15th of January, it'll send it out again. So after your order's gone through, you've got to jump back in there, change it around, keep the Lifelong Vitality because you want to get that every month, and you can add and take throughout the month, and then what's there on the 15th is what you get. If you don't want to wait till the 15th, once the month clicks over, you can hit the ship now. Any questions about that? There we go.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. But you can see that Adam has a real handle on the system, right? And what ordering looks like. And yeah, Peter's laughing in the comments in the chat. They've done that once or twice. Yeah, but and of course he was just rolling off the tongue for us. It's more conversational, engaging, and,
yes,
and personal when you go with them, right? But it's look at it. I'd sign up with you, Adam. Don't tell Alice. Love it. I might. But you can see how he guides them through, and he gives them that cellular memory of them doing it, right? They're driving the machine. They're doing the thing, right, the first time. So it's like Adam has another fun saying. It's like it's only kinky till you've done it, right? So it's like it's different. It's kinky. It's weird. It's like, and then you're doing it. It's like, well, it's easy. It's a piece of cake. It's no problem. And so getting them to drive it and do it is super powerful. And I know that one of the things when we had shipping rewards, Adam used to say, like, so you get that, put this oil in there, that kind of stuff. You get this for free. Now you can either save that, kind of template now if you want to get that for next month on that date, or you can come back in and do it later. What would you like to do? And what's the kind of rate that you get of people going, no, we'll save now?
Most people do. The one hindrance will be if they don't have their credit card nearby. But I'm quite happy for them to run to the other end of the house and go get their credit card and do all that. So you've got to make it easy, and I just kind of look away while they're entering their credit card and let them do that type of thing. So just to create that ease of, no, let's get it done so that you don't get distracted later and forget about it and miss out on the freebies. Yeah,
100%. Question in the chat there: what happens now if someone doesn't do an LRP order 1 month? Does the percentage go back to zero? Well, if it skips or something like that, they don't automatically kind of just take that back for you and revert the percentage back. The percentage actually starts at 10 anyways, right? So it's never back to 0%. 10% is the minimum you can be ordering on loyalty rewards orders when you come back on loyalty rewards. So I hope that answers your question, Sharon. I don't think I've got anything else I want to cover off on that. Larissa, Adam, did you have any final comments that you guys wanted to add in regards to this whole concept of loyalty rewards and what you do in this space, or something that you feel like is important for people to know about how you guys do this so successfully?
I think for me, Paul, it's just don't be afraid to talk about the money and the numbers, like bringing it up front. I mean, people spend money on everyday things, and so we're just showing them another alternative to better quality products, as we know, for the most part. And so don't be afraid to discuss the dollars and the figures, because like you said, if it's about setting an expectation up front, and then there's no surprises. And breaking it down financially now, I think, is really important, because people are hopefully, or maybe, having to start budgeting more, perhaps, based on current circumstances.
I think that's a great point. And I think one of the things that's really powerful now that we are in this kind of environment of, higher interest rates, inflation, higher cost of living, all those kinds of things, focusing on how we can get people to actually save money in this space is really, really important when it comes to consumable monthly products. So being aware of that and being unafraid to have that conversation, even if you started out with something like, I don't know about you and how much money that you earn and all those kind of things, but I know that I like to get myself a good deal and I like to save money when I can. Do you? And everyone's like, yeah. So that you can start with just a comment like that, and that opens that conversation up to be able to speak openly about that side of things. And the other thing I've always been mindful of with the loyalty rewards program for me is that my goal is to get someone on 50 PV of LRP. Always been that, even pre-pandemic, interest rates going up, all those kind of things, because 50 PV serves them. They earn points if they do an order above 50 PV, right? If we can get it to 100 or 125 and those other benefits there, awesome. I also think now that we've got this amazing stacking that we have, since we don't have the shipping rewards, but we do have free shipping at 100, I think we've got this really great progression now that we maybe didn't have before. It used to be 1 PV order would keep your points and keep your account at that level. 50 would earn points on that particular order. And then the gap from there was all the way to 125. The jump was, really significant to some other benefit for ordering that high. And now we're at that point where it's, free shipping, it's back at 100. So it's an easier jump. It's not a bridge so far. And then of course there's the 125 and 200 PVs when we have those promos and those kind of things. Adam, can you give me host right back, please?
Yep, sure.
All right, guys, we're going to kind of wrap this up and be ready with your questions. Courtney, thanks so much for being an amazing co-host and coming on. And Adam, all the way from Bahrain, although it's morning for you, so it's kind of nice time of day. And Melissa, thanks to you guys so much for coming on. Thanks for attending, everyone, to this episode of Becoming Influential. And we look forward to seeing you same time, same channel next month. It's the first Wednesday of the month where we run this. And of course, we're going to be heading into January. Actually, we're having a break from this in January. We're heading back February, guys, right? So it's Christmas and New Year's and all those things. We're having a break January. We'll be back February, but we will send you emails out and remind you of that. And I'm going to just stop recording and we'll get to your questions now.